What's up everybody, Danny here with The Neighbor's Kitchen. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hey, it's been about a year since I've had my Twin TempSpike Plus, and I've got plenty of cooks under my belt with it that I thought perhaps today I'd give it a good review for you so you know if this is something that you might want or not. I'm going to tell you about my experience with it. We're going to run through the app, some of my favorite features about it, and behind me here, actually, you might notice there's a probe missing up top there. It's been working hard all day, monitoring a brisket for me. So at the end of the video, we're going to go into the kitchen, have some dinner, and I'll show you what this thing can do. So without any further ado, let's get reviewing. All right, so this is the Twin TempSpike Plus. I like the twin models of these better than the individuals because they do come with an individual LCD screen on board of the base station, which is nice because this has a battery in it that not only powers the LCD but charges your probes. So without having to plug this into the wall, I can recharge our probes from this should I ever need to do that. And let's just take a quick rundown at these probes here. So this is the white one, the black one is currently in use, and these, their former pedigree, the TempSpike original, was quite a bit more beefy. So these, they've really cut down on size here. They have this really nice, way easier to clean up handle. Doesn't have all those ridges in it. So these are very nice. The tip is 304 stainless steel, and I don't know why I'm not an engineer of thermometer probes, but these have a temperature limit of 212 degrees. So keep that in mind, perhaps, if you are wanting to cook something smaller and you get it a little wonky, a little too close. If you're searing and want to monitor your temperature, just be mindful of that. Or, you know, whatever. Just be mindful of the 212 degree temp limit on the probe, part of the probe. The ceramic handle is good for like up to 1,000 degrees. That's in Fahrenheit, obviously. If you have anything that goes up to 1,000 degrees ambient temperature, maybe get that checked out. That sounds awful high. Maybe, I don't know, let me know. But yeah, so there's our probes here. They nice onboard cradle. They just click right in, and you'll see here on the display the white one will go away and it starts charging right on board. See, no wires, truly wireless. So you got these other options here. Now obviously this probe here is in the Traeger. See if I can get that glare away from you guys. But you have this light button. So if it's late at night or very early in the morning, you can hit that. I don't know if you guys can see that because it's daytime, but it lights up with this nice kind of orangish illumination. You gotta love that. And then you have over here this S button for select. So you'll see right now we got a brisket going. We're at 181 degrees. Yeah, I hit that select button. It switches to ambient temperature and we're at 257 degrees. Now this is the white probe, but ambient is the whole handle and the internal temperature is the whole silver. And I say that because when you are putting this into whatever it is that you're cooking, you go all the way up to where the color changes, okay? Don't stop here, don't stop here, don't stop here. Go all the way up here. I'll show you some B-roll of that. We want to get nice and centered, so I'm going to kind of imagine this here. I'm going to come in here at an angle, go all the way up to the colored handle like I had mentioned. The probes are IP67 waterproof. So let's say that you get done with a long cook, invite your family over, have a few too many Coca-Colas, and you don't clean up right away, they get all crusty. You can just throw these in the dishwasher the following day. When I say these, I mean the probes. The base station is not waterproof. Do not submerge this or run this under running water. If it does have a magnetic back, so if you clip it to your grill while you're preparing for said meal that you might leave the probes out overnight, and maybe you're mowing the lawn while you wait for your guests to get here and get it all caked with grass clippings. I certainly didn't make that up in my imagination. Damp towel of some sort with mild detergent, wipe it clean, you'll be golden. But do not submerge the base unit. As far as power goes, for when you do need to charge it, it's got this wonderful USB-C port. Nice and convenient because everybody has USB-C these days, I think. All right, before we jump into the app, let's talk about range. So the way that Bluetooth works is it needs direct line of sight. Now, there are some things that we can talk about there regarding hindrances of that. Now, I think from the base station to the probes, it's something like 60 feet, but you have to realize that this lid is taking away from the signal, and if this were on the other side of the house, now it's going through a lid and siding and plywood and insulation and drywall, so everything gets cut down. Now, I have no doubt in my mind, I just leave this here on my little counter on the Traeger. From the base unit to your phone where your app is installed is 600 feet. Now, I don't even have 600 feet of yard, and I'm all fenced in, so I can't actually go and show you this. But I have no doubt in my mind that that is 600 feet for sure. But I will tell you, this room here is my office. For example, today is a weekday, and I had to work. So from here to there, no problem whatsoever. Behind me is the sliding door and the kitchen where you see me spend a lot of time. No problem in there. However, as you'll see here in a minute when I fire up the app, I did go on a walk for my lunch break today, and I took my phone with me. It disconnected far before 600 feet that way because it was going through an entire house. And then I checked the mail when the mailman came, did the same thing. So I lost some of my charting data. That's my bad. I could have just left my phone in the kitchen, but nonetheless, so it's just something you have to think about on a longer cook. All right, let's talk about the smartphone app for this doohickey because it's pretty cool. Now, when I first got this a year ago, it actually used a different app. It used the original TempSpike app. It was a pretty good app, relatively rudimentary, but it got the job done. Now, when ThermoPro released the TempSpike Pro last December, they had to come out with a new app because the TempSpike Pro utilizes Wi-Fi in addition to Bluetooth. And to keep everything nice and secure and not just opening up your home network to a lot of questionable stuff, you have to have an account. So with that came a whole new build of the app. And sometime between when I got this and now, they actually opened up that app to the TempSpike Plus. And I gotta tell you, that is one of the greatest things that I can say for this specific model, because that app is just a winner. It just runs circles around the first app. So very pleased about that. So when I switched over, I actually did that this morning in preparation for this, so I was able to capture some of that. It's very easy. If you already have this and you want to migrate, all you have to do is uninstall the old app, hit the plus button on the new one if you already have it, add this, it's next, done. Now, if you're starting from scratch, I recommend just follow the instructions because I didn't receive those set of instructions with the new app. You will likely have to make sure you have an account and log in with it, and then you'll probably have to give the app access to your Bluetooth. There might be some local storage that it requests, I can't remember. Just follow the directions, you'll be just fine. ThermoPro does really, really good at providing good documentation, and should you need it, their customer support, spot on. All right, so here is the app. It's called the ThermoPro app. And right now, let's take you back to the home page. So this here is the home page. And you can see I have a couple of these units up top here. You'll see it's offline. I have a two probe Pro for the camper, And then for the house, my main rig is a 4 probe. You can see that it is also offline. But down here we have our recently added Twin TempSpike Plus. Now this home screen is super handy, especially if you have multiple rigs of these. So if you buy a 2 probe and then you decide that's not enough, and instead of upgrading to a 4 probe, you get another 2 probe, this home screen blends all of your ThermoPro products together. I love that. And it's wonderful for summary here. So you can see here, I'm only using 1 probe right now because we just have the 1 brisket. But on the black probe for the Plus, it gives us this nice easy data here. First off, it gives you an estimated time remaining, saying we got about an hour left. We're at 185. I do believe that to be true. It's like a 4.4 pound trimmed brisket. My target is customizable. I'll show you that here in a minute. It's 203. Ambient 246 makes sense because the Traeger is set to 250. Let's go ahead and click on the black probe, and now you have a little more data. So you can see here our chart, and if you actually look here, you'll see, so this is current. It's not been on for 2 hours and 55 minutes. I mentioned earlier that I walked away from my smoker for a little bit to go on a walk. So this data here, starting there, is when I walked back into range. That's my bad. If you want to keep everything for later, you hit this record button here, and then at the end you can actually export that data into a CSV. If you really want to get nerdy with things, I've done it. You can do that. But yeah, so the blue line is internal and the red is ambient. So you can see here, I had the smoker set to 225. This dip here is when I opened the lid to wrap it. And then after I wrap my brisket, I crank it up to 250. So you can see all of our heat cycles here. There's another dip in there somewhere. I put in a potato. But that's cool. You don't have to hit the go button for the graphing. That just automatically starts. You only have to hit the record button if you want to export that data later. And down here, let's say you're trying a new recipe. I don't know, say you got a really big chuck roast that you're cooking like a steak instead of a roast, and you wanted to put in here like flip at 65 degrees, and then again at 100 and, I don't know, 130, whatever. I made that up. Yep, from here, so this is the entire Plus screen now. If we were using the white probe, this would be populated, but it's not because it's off. So go back here. The app comes with a bunch of presets that are super handy. So you see here where it says brisket, that is one of my custom profiles. So you see all these ones that have the trash can icon next to them. Those are ones that I've made along the way. All the ones that are not deletable come from the app straight from the factory. So for example, let's go ahead and click on this beef one, and let's say we're doing steak. It comes with all these USDA pre-approved temperatures that automatically just go right into the app, and all, depending on how you have your bells and whistles set, they will alert you when you are there. So for example, sirloin, you got rare, medium rare, ribeye. Now these are all USD approved stuff. Obviously, if you want to customize these things, you can. You just go hit that little button, change it to what you want, and no one will know. I have, my beef roast there set to 128. One of the things that I've found to help me, especially on my longer cooks, is I have this custom setting here called time to wrap. I have it set to 160, so I'll actually use 2 probes in the same cut of meat. I'll set 1 probe to time to wrap and the other probe to my final temperature, And that way, when I'm roaming around the yard, doing chores or making sides, I'm not gonna accidentally miss my target, because kind of what I found works for me is pulled pork and brisket are pretty much the same. 160 degrees, wrap it, crank the temperature to 250, finish it up to 203. So having an alarm for that is super helpful, in my opinion. I wanna show you real quick how to set the alarms, all right? So if you go back to your home screen, and we're gonna click on these three little dots here, you have a couple of things here, including about device. Tells you your Bluetooth version, firmware, MAC address, things you'll probably never need, but not 100% won't. We go back there. You can rename it should you want to. If you're going to trade up, sell this on Marketplace, I wanted to delete it, whatever, that's that button. I'm not going to click that here, obviously. You go into device settings, and this is where you control the alarms on board of this. So, with that being said, Christmas is coming up. Let's say that perhaps you're thinking about gifting this to an elder relative, or maybe just a not tech savvy person. This can be used 100% without a smartphone or smart device. You are taking away some of the capabilities, but it's still useful. For example, if you see here on the display, you see that little bell? That means that alarms are set on this. And you control that from here. You cannot control that from here. So also, you cannot set profiles on here. If you wanted to run this without a phone or tablet or whatever mobile device you are using, you can't set this to steak, rare, poultry, well done, venison, fish, and then this goes beep, beep, beep when it's done. You have to have a smart device for that, but nonetheless, this is still operable without this. So what I have done, because my pellet smoker is so reliable, I have actually disabled the ambient temperature alarm on the booster. Let's say you are using charcoal or wood or have an offset smoker of any kind and you are fueling it yourself. When you go back into your probe, you see over here low and high. Right now I have it just set to 150 and 275 degrees. If you click in there, you can adjust your threshold for the alarm right like so. Just hit save. And then if your ambient temperature dips below the low, this goes off, your phone goes off. If it goes above the high, this goes off, depending on how you have it set in here. Go back into settings. So top part, booster alarm, internal, I have set to go off on here. Ambient, not on here. Go here to app alarm, and I have internal to default. Ambient, mute, see? And I actually just muted this today, the disconnect default. Every time I walked away, it did this. I ended up muting that because I like to have my phone on walks, and actually I went in and out of 600-foot range a couple times, and I was like, whoa, scared me a little bit. There's actually a pre-alarm that you can set right here. 5 degrees before temp, 10, 15, none. I do none because I'm usually on my own looking at this pretty closely. And then attentions, that's just a pop-up on your phone. I can't trigger that on purpose. So that's how you customize all of your notifications. It's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of it. I do want to talk about real quick, you might notice here that battery is looking pretty low. Okay, these probes have a 36-hour battery life, is what they say. Full disclosure, I have never done a 36-hour cook with these. The longest I've done with the TempSpike Plus probes is I did an 8-pound pork shoulder. It took, I think, right at 16 hours. I did it overnight. And I will tell you, the battery drops really rapidly on the little icon thing. but I think there's just something strange about how it's reading or how it's translating into the app, because it does last. It just has like an exponential fall, but it always hangs on at the end. I don't believe that to be a deal breaker, because it's always worked for me. I've done really long cooks with this thing. I'll let you deal with that as you will. I'm just being transparent. All right, we've made it. You ready to see what we can do with this cool tool? Got my cooler. It's been resting for about an hour. Hot and steamy. I don't know if you guys can see that. Baked myself a potato. And the star of the show. Okay. Did pretty good. We're down to 178 internal after an hour rest in the cooler. Let's go ahead and pull this probe out. See, it comes out pretty cleanly. And this will just clean up with soap and water. Nice and easy. Don't have to worry about it getting ruined because it's waterproof. But look at that. Let's see how we do here. We got you some more lights. There we go. Ooh, I got a nice thin slice on that one. Well, there you have it. It just pulls apart. It's so good. And with the ThermoPro, you can repeat this every time. I want to try something a little different in this video. I'm going to link you a product link to this specific product in the description below. However, since I do like my ThermoPro stuff, I'd like you to go also down to the comment section and check out the pinned comment for whatever sale is currently going on, because I can update the comment section as time goes on, but I can't constantly change an already uploaded video. So for whatever deals are going on that I can get you months, weeks down the road, whatever, check out the pinned comment section. But I will leave you a link to this product specifically in the description. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. What are you cooking first with your new TempSpike? Let me know. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you so much for hanging out with me this week. Until next time, be well.